There is only one rule. You don't have to think.
Okay.
So let's go. If you have to rewrite one company policy overnight, which would it be?
The work from home?
Understood. So many Gen Zs will definitely disagree on
Yes.
that. Which trend in FMCG world do you think is overhyped? Quick commerce, AI, or Kiranas being around forever?
Quick commerce.
If you were not sales director, you would be. So if you could swap jobs with someone for one day, what would that be?
HR director?
So that you can remove the work from home.
And change it.
Hi folks, this is Akshat and welcome to another edition of Masters of Change podcast powered by Bizon. Today we are excited to welcome a guest whose professional journey stands out for his innovation and impact. Chidambaram PL joins us as a seasoned expert whose journey showcases a passion for navigating real-world challenges and driving meaningful change. In this episode, you'll hear insights drawn from years of hands-on problem solving, team leadership and strategic projects. Whether you're a young CPG leader in business or technology field or even a budding entrepreneur, Chidambaram's story promises valuable takeaways. Please join us in welcoming Chidambaram PL.
Thank you. First of all, thank you Akshat and thank you entire Bizon team for giving me this opportunity to talk about myself and talk about my journey. Looking forward.
So, before we get into the hardcore RTM questions, right, I wanted to just start on a candid note. And this is something I always keep wondering whenever I meet a sales leader. Sales is usually not the first choice of profession, especially, whenever we are in college or whenever we are deciding a career, it's usually, especially for Indians, either doctor, engineer or something else. How did you land up in sales? Was it a conscious decision or was it a matter of circumstance?
I think it's a very valid question, Akshat, but for a difference, it was a very conscious choice. What I really made for my own self, because I come from a business of family. My family is full of business. They have not been employed in any of the firms in the past. But my father is always known for, my father or my grandfathers are known for business community. And they were very clear that I had to get into a sales profession, do my MBA and get inside the sales profession. And from my 8th standard, I can clearly remember my father telling me that I need to do an MBA, I need to be in sales. So it was well registered from my standards of 8th, that's the way it was. So it was a very conscious choice that I took. And when I did my Bachelor of Commerce, when I did my MBA, I was very clear I will get into sales, for sure.
Well, that's brilliant. Should Alana leadership be worried that you will soon start up your own business?
They should not be worried, at least for some time. But having said that, there was also a reason why did I choose a profession like this rather than doing the business of my father or my grandfather. That's because they were very clearly saying that I should not be following their footprint, and they wanted me to be in the industry of sales. They wanted me to be in the professional industry where I start my day at 9, end my day at 5 o'clock. But that had never happened in my lifetime, but it was something that was guided by my father for a long time. So I may not be interested in starting a business, but probably with whatever my business, my family has done it in the past, I might explore sometime in future.
Well, very interesting. In sales, days start at 9, ending days
Not at all, not at all.
Chidambaram, you ended up doing executive MBA from IIM Calcutta. For some of our young viewers who did not immediately pursue MBA right after graduation, could you give a holistic view, both the good and the bad, of this particular choice of doing executive MBA, maybe a little at a mature stage in the career?
Sure. I think before answering this question, Akshat, I think I should thank Colgate for giving this opportunity, because this was an early leadership program that was run by Colgate, and they nominated certain sort of people to really do this, and they did this 2 people a year, and they did I think for 3 years, and I was the lucky one to get it on the first year itself. And this was part of the leadership program that was happening with Colgate. And when this choice was made, I think probably I was much more keen, because this gave me a complete perspective what I really learned during my MBA, a normal MBA that I would have done in a normal engineering or a business school, versus what I really did in IIM Calcutta. It gave me completely refreshing thoughts, what I really learned versus what I really saw in Colgate for close to 7 years, from 2003 to 2010, and 2010 I got inside this program. So this program gave a complete perspective of what I really learned, what I really implemented, what I'm again learning now. And I also got a good networking with this entire program, where I had multiple people from FMCG sector. We had people coming from a different industry altogether. So it gave me a wonderful networking with this entire EPBM that we're talking about. And to answer your question, yes, there was more of benefit that I really got by really relearning what I learned in my MBA days, and it was also much more updated what I really was learning 10 years back versus what I was learning in 2010. So that was very clear, and probably I would still recommend many people to really go for this, not just because I was there, but probably I believe that this has given a very changing insights when we really get into this session. This is very a span of, if I'm not wrong, this is only close to a 10 to 12 months course, and you have a virtual class, and you also travel all the way to IIM Calcutta. You spend there for 6 to 10 days, and it is a live experience that people to really gain. And I really love the professors who really took me through many insights, many case studies, many Harvard business case studies. It was really brilliant. And for sure, I would recommend this is a right program for young entrepreneurs, young people who has not really gone through the IIM way of learning. I would recommend every organization to really do this.
Chidambaram, you had a phenomenal 20-year-old stint in Kolpal, right? And especially the last 6 years of that, growth curve was very steep. In your role as the head of modern trade and e-com, what was the biggest challenge that you faced, and how did you end up solving it?
Straight to answer that question, I just thought in the last 20 years with Colgate Palmolive, I had multiple stints they given me an opportunity. To be very frank, in 20 years I did close to 14 different roles, which is really good that I have gained experience. At the same time, yes, the role that you're talking about, which is a pure leadership role that we're talking, which is heading the modern trade and e-com, I would say it was the booming stage, or the stage where your modern trade started gaining traction, and e-com is the one which was started coming inside that we're talking about. So it was a journey where it was full of roller coaster ride, that I can tell you very clearly, because we had new customers coming in, we had old customers exiting, there were multiple customers we need to do a top to top engagement, and we had e-com customers onboarding. So it was quite tough, because even though Colgate as a company is a market leader in oral care, but the journey was very tough to really onboard everybody inside. At the same time, since you are already a market leader, you need to sustain that position with the trade, with the particular customer, that we are Colgate, we are like this, and this is what we will do. Probably I think that point of time, that was a challenge which I really faced. But having said that, Colgate being Colgate, very high process oriented organization, and the leaderships are very much connected with all the customers that we're talking about. And if it's top to top, it's a real top to top. If it's a JBP, it's a very real JBP that we're talking about. And I still remember the way that we really prepare our JBP, the way that we really prepare our top to top. It's a phenomenal work, and it was challenging, but I think every day was enjoyed, and every day had a wonderful learning.
For the benefit of some of our uninitiated audience, would you mind just diving a little bit deeper into top to top and joint business plans?
Okay, so in your modern trade and e-com, for a built-in company, for a company which has a good stake and they have a good market share and they want to really work with all the customers deeper, this joint business plan and the top to top is going to be very critical, because there are many operational things that you can really handle, but there is a big sign-off that is required on your bigger agenda and your bigger strategy. So it is always good you have a good engagement at the top level with all the positions that you're talking about, from the GM till the key accounts manager, what we're talking. Followed by that, you also have a clear joint business plan, what you're going to do for this financial year, or the financial year which starts like an American company from Jan to December. You agree on what you're going to do as a calendar, and you sign off completely what is the plan that you're going to do from start till the end, and how are you going to support the customer as well as the company to build that number or achieve that number what you're building in. So this gives more confident, have a sign off on the ambition that we're going to really take. What are the initiatives that I'm going to do between months as a calendar, and that is going to give more confidence and the win-win between both the stakeholders. Now, more and more you do this, the customer gains the confidence that they are the category leaders, they are the category captains. Let's leave the category to them. Let them drive it. Let them prove it. Let them do it. And that confidence will happen not just with the CAM, it has to happen at all levels. So I strongly believe that has really helped Colgate, and I can sure tell people like me had been gained much knowledge, and the learning curve was very high in all the JBP and top to top meetings.
One of the things which I've heard, especially in modern trade relationships or engagements, is that the relationships with these larger chains or larger stores is very key. Yeah. I think similar is true for e-com as well. Is there a secret sauce that you had during those years wherein you were able to balance the relationship vis-a-vis the sales targets that you still had to deliver through those channels?
I think more than a secret sauce or something which was a hidden agenda that we had, I can tell you that I think that's where I always call the process really makes the difference. Even though you call it a process, we call it something called as an engagement matrix. So what we normally do is that whenever we have any tie-up with any modern trade customers or we engage with any e-com customers, we always have something called as a clear engagement matrix. We may not call it very clearly in that table or a PPT or anything, but we know that this customers I need to meet once in 2 months. These are the customers I need to meet monthly. These are the customers I need to have a mid-year review. So those are the ones which will not be very formal, but probably you try and do this and you will start adapting to it very faster. And without even you knowing that it is a very professional platform or a very planned matrix, you will automatically start doing it without knowing. And the good part is that many of the things will not close in the meeting, in a formal meeting. Probably you have a chai outside or you have a informal discussion outside. You will able to understand what is his pain point and what is that you need to do to address the pain point and get it signed off. So those are the things which really helped a lot. I'm not saying that the formal top to top or the key meetings will not sign off. It will sign off, but it will have some nuances, it will have some challenges. Probably they may not put it across in that table. So you will know your counterpart signaling you something. So you come out, have a discussion. He will over a chai, he will say, no, yeah, this is a problem, I need this. Then probably we will find a way out so that the agenda gets signed, the execution also gets signed, and we get the result what we wanted.
Well, that's a big takeaway from me, that everything does not happen in a boardroom.
Yeah, very much.
A lot of action happens outside during those informal chais. I think great.
Yeah.
Chidambaram, we all remember that campaign which shook the FMCG world, right? कि क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? I think that was a game changer. How did Colgate land on that campaign? What is the story behind that?
Yeah, see, even though I'm not with the company now, but I can tell you because I'm very closely associated to this brand, because this was a brand which really made a big difference in a state like Tamil Nadu. Rather than putting some numbers and shares and everything, I can give you a quick background what really happened, because in South, I think in Colgate there is always a toothpaste which is a white toothpaste. They call Sada toothpaste, they call white toothpaste, they call Colgate dental cream, people call CDC. There is a brand we launched, if I'm not wrong, in 2012 was the place where Colgate Salt came in. I'm not sure if it was 2012 or 2011, so that's the time it came inside. And when we launched, we were very clear, because it's a clear, it's a mindset and insight very clearly saying that salt kills germs, and this is a big belief that was in South, no doubt at all. Okay, and even today in South Indian homes, if you go, people actually do salt water goggle to really kill the germs in the mouth, and they believe that it cures. So I think this was one campaign that was made bigger, and the entire sales team ran behind this in a very big way. The marketing campaign, I think, since you exactly recollected, आपका toothpaste का नमक है, so I think this was a campaign which really created the big bang in the market, and there were many innovative ways of driving it in the market, especially with the salt, and this created a big agenda and the big push with the sales team to create this brand bigger. Today I can tell you in South India this brand is, I'm sure this is still doing very, very well. It will continue to do very, very well, because the science behind the product is very strong, and it's a big belief, and it's been well capitalized by a company like Colgate, and in the toothpaste category this will make a big dent, and it will gain the market share. It will continue to gain the market share, I'm confident.
Wow, what an insight. I never knew the story behind the campaign, but I think this is a true example of real intelligence, right? So we at Bizom believe that real intelligence is bigger than artificial intelligence. Real intelligence is basically a combination of artificial intelligence, industry alignment, and human intuition. I think this story perfectly encapsulates.
Yeah, because it was a great idea, it was a great insight, and it was a belief. Whenever the belief drives the insight, it stays for a very long time, and it will continue. Okay, and in the initial years, Colgate could have taken a call. It has not moved the way that it wanted, but they were very strongly holding on the belief. They were very strongly holding on the insight. They were holding very clearly on the marketing initiatives, the upstream that we're talking about. And last but not least, the sales team took it as a challenge to create this as a best brand, because there was no competition when they came inside with this formula what we're talking about. And the sales team leveraged it very well to really get what the Colgate company is today with Colgate Active Salt. We call it CAS, CAS.
CAS.
Yeah, Colgate Active Salt. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Chidambaram, towards the end of that Kolpal stint, as a branch manager, you managed 1700 crores per annum and close to around 120 team members. For most of us, managing 12 people is a headache. How were you able to manage the people, the revenue numbers, as well as keep your mental sanity?
On the turnover per se, I can tell you it is nothing that only I contributed. It is all people who has built the entire South branch in Colgate, no doubt at all. There are multiple people who was a branch manager who built South branch from the initial stage to this level what we're talking about. I was just adding value for the last 4 years that I was in South branch, starting from 2019 to 2023. So I can't take the complete credit that I took the 1700 crores. No, that was not the case. But having said that, South team is always a team which has created history, which has created wonders for Colgate branch. I mean, the Colgate as a company. And followed by that, the 120 people, this is also a team which comprises of all 5 states what we're talking about. When I say South branch, which is Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, as well as Karnataka. So it's a very big team. And this team includes all 120 doesn't report to me directly. We have the RM structure. They were having the trade marketing structure, and followed by that there were area managers and the field team. So it was a larger team, and it was a team which was delivering the high contribution for the pan-India business of Colgate. And to be very frank, it was very creative and a very agile team, which created history for X number of years so far. So I was having the privilege to get such a big branch adding to my portfolio. After me doing the modern trade stint, head of modern trade and e-com stint, I got this opportunity to work as a branch manager in Colgate. It's called a CDTL. So there I was able to work for 4 years. So I think it was a big team, no doubt at all, but challenging environment also, because South is always a market which is quite challenging from a competition point of view, and everybody want to win in South, and it's a big market. It was challenging, but at the same time, great learning experience and wonderful team to really work with.
In South, AP would have been perhaps your biggest market in terms of consumption, I'm assuming. AP Telangana combined.
Of course, AP Telangana combined would be big, and Tamil Nadu is also bigger. Tamil Nadu is also a bigger market for us, with Colgate having a big share. So it was Tamil Nadu, AP Telangana, followed by Karnataka. The last would be the Kerala. That's the way it is.
I still remember my first Colgate meeting. I asked a very stupid question in the meeting, which was, what is your addressable market? And the gentleman on the other side responded that it is literally the population of India. So I can understand the kind of markets you deal with. Thank you so much, Chidambaram. You've been so kind and patient with us about answering questions about the Kolpal stint. Now we'll come to the current role, which is Alana, the pet food industry, and the future that you see. For the benefit of our audience, can you take them through what Alana does, number one, and what is this whole excitement about, Bowlers, Perfetto, and the entire pet food product line?
Sure. I think I'm sure many people would have heard Alana as a name in some form, but many people will not understand what exactly Alana overall does. Alana as a company has a legacy of 160 plus years in the industry, which is very few companies in India today has it, very few, you can count it. And Alana as a company is also very well known for the B2B business, which is more to do with exports, and they have done multiple things in the multiple industry sectors and exports, and they've now come inside this B2C. They had been in B2C, but this B2C in pet food is something that they've launched a year back, and before that they were doing pet food in exports, but I think in India, the domestic business that we're talking about, it was just started a year back. That's the way it was. And this is a project which is very passionate, and they've taken it very, very clear. It is for a long run and it is a long term. That's point number one. And point number two, why I'm telling this with confidence, whether it is a long term and a long run. Many pet food company today, if they want to enter, they normally do is that they test the market by importing the product, sell it in India. If it works, they actually run it in a big way. But when it comes to Alana, they didn't do that. They believe that this market is for a long run. This industry, this business is going to be for a long run, and this industry is actually a one that we need to find a good space for our pet food. That's the reason Alana as a company started their complete manufacturing facility. It's a state-of-art manufacturing facility, I should tell you. And this has been started in Zahirabad, and the capacity is massive, and we have our own microbiological lab, and we have a wonderful set of team that is already working on ground to build what we really wanted in pet food. Now, where am I coming in with my 20 or 23 plus experience in FMCG? That's where I got an opportunity that there is something that we have it with Alana, which is heading the sales team as a director. So that's where I got an opportunity to really come inside. Whatever the learning curve that I had for the last 20 plus years or 23 plus years, I want to really do things here right to really get the system in place, the go-to-market in place, get the team in place, and secure a right space on the business as well as on the market share. That's a clear plan and ambition for my own self with Alana.
Very interesting. Sounds like a startup stint to me.
Very much.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Completely building 0 to 1.
Yes.
Excellent. I think now that you've led teams in a large multinational like Kolpal, and now that you're a sales director here, and the 4 generations, they've scaled this particular business massively, and you are now leading the sales and marketing team rather, in this family-owned business. How has your experience been different? What are the challenges and opportunities you see as a sales director in a large family-owned business like this?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. But having said that, let me answer you that I've joined exactly 6 months back. I started my career with Alana in February. From the time what I was and from as of today what we're talking about, I think I've been given a complete open hand. Not only me, at least the leadership in the pet food has been given an open hand, doing all the right things for the future. And this is an organization which is not worried about short term. They always believe, yes, short term is important to drive and establish yourself, but I think keep a long vision and keep it very long term so that we are able to sustainable and get the position what we wanted in the pet food industry. I think that is very clearly coming out, and from an empowerment point of view, I don't see any gap or any pushback. If it is required and if it is right for the system, I've always seen a green signal, go ahead and do it. Live example is what we're doing it with Bizom. Any company which would have started a year back would have not even thought of DMS. They would have said, let 3 years go, let's establish the business and do DMS, and we will start recording things later. But today, when we proposed this, I think it was well accepted by the leadership team here, the promoters in the company. They believed that these are all much required to really give the confidence with the field team, with the distributor and the entire retail fraternity and the outlet fraternity what we're talking about, and for the leadership also to understand what is really happening on the secondary and how can we really use AI to really take this in the right direction. So that's clearly coming out very clear. And I don't see this like whether it's an MNC or a family run business. For me, I think the fundamentals are more same when it comes to a business that we're talking about. Any business that you're talking with, dealing with FMCG or with pet food or anything that you're talking about, the fundamentals more or less same. You have your distributors, you have your multiple channels that you're going to deal with, you have e-com customers that you're going to deal with. Are you very clear on what is your agenda between channel? Are you very clear on your selling principles? Are you very clear on what you're going to execute on the market? And are you having the same clarity of thought and the empowerment given to you to execute, then I think we will have some operation challenges, but for sure we will reach the destination what we really wanted. It might take plus or minus 6 months to 1 year, but we will reach there. I think that's something which I confidently believe in an organization like Alana. This is a company like, they would have seen multiple leaders like me in the past. They have a legacy of 160 years. Now what I'm seeing with them is that they're very ambitious. They have a long-term plan with pet food, what we're talking about, and they put all the right infrastructure. They've given the right funding, money, whatever that is required to drive it. I see we are on the right direction, and we will get what is really required by the promoters and leadership to the ambition what we need to reach. That's what I'm looking at.
Thank you so much for taking us through your product line and where Alana is, and it's great to see the kind of open hand and the flexibility being shown by the promoters team. I mean, you can guess, you don't become a 10,000 crore business by not doing that. On this particular space, the whole pet food industry space, we know that it's an increasing industry now. More and more people are adopting pets, especially millennials and the new Gen Zs. What is your view on the pet food industry in India, with multiple other businesses investing as well?
My understanding so far, I might be in the pet food industry for the last 6 months, but whatever my understanding that I'm able to get, and with many insights that we are also drawing from the social media platforms, I can tell you that this industry is for growth, no doubt at all. There are multiple reasons why I'm telling this as a space to grow. It's because today the calorie conversion, this is a normal term which is used in the pet food industry, is that calorie conversion is nothing but what is the number of percentage food used by the pets, for the pets, which is the organized food, which is your kibbles and wet food or whatever it is. It's only below 10%. 90% is the home cooked food which is still used in the Indian industry. It's a data, we don't have exactly who has told this, but I think there are multiple measures that we have. The calorie consumption what we're talking about is less than 10%. Okay, so which practically means the opportunity is plenty. So more and more if I'm even going to double this, assume I'm going to move from 10 to 20, it's going to double the category business by 2x easily. Okay, that's one. Second, as you rightly mentioned by millennials and the Gen Z is what you're talking about, today these are the people who want to adapt or who want to really get the pet in their home. Earlier, pet was always seen as a pet which is supposed to be outside the home, and it is supposed to only save when there is a problem. But today that is not the case. Today pets are completely inside the home. They've been given a treatment which is equal to your own family member. So these are all for a good cause, good reason. Okay. So automatically there is going to be a high increase in the pet parenting that we're talking about. So automatically the Indian market has to grow. The third one that we normally see is that today people are also doing more amount of social media, checking what is really on the food. There are multiple sources that is going to throw you information about the pet food, what we're talking about. So there is a huge opportunity for premiumization. So if I really combine all these things, there is a huge opportunity that pet food industry will grow. There are multiple numbers. People are saying in 2032 this business will become 3x. People are saying in 2030 it will become 2x. So there are multiple numbers. Rather than me talking about any number here for the pet food, this category is here to grow and it will continue to grow. Okay. And even if you're also seeing from the other angle that people getting married late, people are there are double income, no kid. There are people who are getting married, they have one kid, they wanted somebody to play with the kid. So for all the reason, pet is going to come inside. So there is a high chance, not only high chance, it's a complete belief, it's a complete fact that we have it on the table, saying that this industry will 100% grow. Now, what is important for any pet food players to come inside? They need to have a right bundle, right product, because Indian economy is always looks both. They want best at the right price or at the lowest price. So you should know how to really play your mix with the right product, good palatability, right price, and fulfill the demand in the right markets what you're talking about. So there is a huge opportunity. It is given. I can tell you this with confidence. Having said that, you also need to play your game very smartly to really secure the market what we're talking about. So you already have market leaders. You have multiple players coming inside by importing the product and selling it in India. But what will happen 4 to 5 years down the line is that we will have consolidation happening in the industry. I foresee that top players will continue to play, and we need to find the right space with the right bundle with the right price in the market. Industry is there, it's going to grow, and you're going to have pets coming in, you're going to have pet parents coming in. So right product that you're going to have with the right innovation, with the right upstream and demand generation plans, you will have to capture the market. That's the way I foresee. And I also see today it is not only pet food. Things are changing, because earlier pet food means it's only kibble. Worst come most people get you a wet food, which is actually during the summer seasons. But today that is not the case. Today there are treats, there are creams, there are accessories, there are AI tools. So more and more you get into, it's going to grow into a different league altogether. And followed by that, today you see how the industry is also changing. Earlier, if you have a pet, people don't allow you inside many places. Today that's not the case. You go to Make My Trip, they are asking you a question, do you have a pet? Do you want a room available with a pet? So things are changing, and people are much more happy to have a pet, take them walk, go inside a society. You are seeing this change in a metro city. Soon you will see it start changing into the other cities also. So clearly, whatever the external trend, internal trend, everything says there is a big opportunity. All that you need is that everybody has to come inside, put all the innovation in place, make it competitive, and for sure, people who's going to sustain, people who are going to have the innovation, people going to have the right bundle with the palatability, right pricing, are going to succeed. And Alana will be there.
Of course, I can imagine. Thank you so much. So one of the concerning trends in the FMCG industry, not just pet food, the industry as at large, is the rising attrition. Pre-COVID times, it was around 20% for the frontline sales reps. Now it is hovering somewhere around 40% year-on-year attrition. This, of course, one is this does cause problems in your regular day-to-day execution. As a sales director, how do you tackle this or mitigate this at some level, at a human level? Second, how do you think technology can help here?
Okay, so there are two questions in this part. Attrition is something which differs from industry to industry. So some might have 20, some might have 8 and 5 also. But yes, it's a genuine problem, because today there are multiple reasons people wanted to quit or they want to move out for a job. And mostly the reason will be that it's for my own career growth. I've just shifted. Example, there is a off-roll employee getting an on-roll job. On-roll employee want to get into a managerial role. So there are multiple reasons for it. But if you ask me, especially this is happening in the front line. One level above, the manager level above, I'm sure the industry is not seeing a big number or a big attrition trend what we're talking about. But probably at the front line, this is something which is really happening. And having said that, in the front line, there is also a multiple opportunity which has come inside. Example, you see multiple quick com industry that is really booming, and you also have many startup companies which is really coming inside. So everybody wants to really try something new and then get there. So this is a phenomena which happens in a cycle. So this will continue, and I don't think so this has an immediate solve. This will continue. But probably what I see is that as an employer or as a manager, if a person leaves, always any HR looks into two aspects, whether they say whether it's a regret or it's a non-regret. Non-regret is the person is not to be the right future candidate for us. If he's moving, it's moving. Okay. If it's a regret, I think most of the cases what it happens is that I strongly believe that if you have a conversation in a right time, in a right frequency with your own employee, 70 to 80% you can avoid this attrition. This I strongly believe. Okay. Second, when a regret candidate that you believe that he is a good candidate, the lack of recognition or the appreciation in the right time is something which I also believe that which is making him to think of moving out of an organization. So I strongly believe that a continued conversation with an employee that you believe that can be groomed and you see that there is a merit in working with him. Followed by that, you also have a proper interactions within a frequency of time. You can at least avoid or minimize a regrettable attrition that you're talking about for your organization. That will at least help. That I strongly believe. And in sales, even if somebody has got a good job, in my experience, I'm telling you in the last 20-25 years, if I'm going to have a conversation and I'm able to really give him a roadmap for the future that you've got this job, well and good, let's look what you have with me, next 4 years or next 3 years down the line, probably I can tell you with confidence I've convinced at least 50 to 60% of people to stay back. Okay, so I strongly believe these 2-3 pointers, whatever I told, is something that anybody can practice and anybody can implement. A strong HR team, a strong sales team that is available to retain their employee, they will do it, they can do it. Coming to your second point, which is actually on how can AI help any organization in making the dent much more lower and we can safeguard that. I think in the earlier days, most of the data, whatever that the previous person would have had and moved out, would be with a manual recording or a diary or a paper. But today, I think with AI coming in, with the technology coming in, even today with what we're working with Bizom, all the data point is readily available, that even if an individual moves out and there is a new person coming in, the handover takeover can be much more smoother. At the same time, even if that person wants to adapt and the person wants to really settle down faster, this AI data tool, whatever that we have, is going to sophisticate him to settle down faster. It is not that the same person is required to give the download. It is good that we are able to retain the old person to give the handover takeover. But most of this data, technology, route, beat, working, whatever the follow-up, most of the things are readily available for him like a dashboard, so that things can be used to make it much more easier for him to settle down when the new person is going to join and take over.
Very true, very true. I think that at least that takes away a lot of tactical challenges
Exactly.
involved in attrition, and we still have to plug it. I think that's still a big gap, but it does reduce the dent.
Yeah.
Very truly mentioned. So now we know that the buzzword in all boardrooms is AI, right? Artificial intelligence, and the buzzword in our boardrooms these days is real intelligence, out of which AI is actually a subset of it. What are the top business use cases which you see for large sales teams like yours getting impacted by AI maybe over the next 3-4 years?
There are multiple.